We're all stupid. We're all going to die. This week in Stupid.
So again, no tear gas was used, no rubber bullets were used.
Making that distinction. Chemical agents were used.
Let me back up and
Episcopal priest who said she was gassed. Others say they were tear gassed in that area.
well, no one was tear gas. Let me make that clear.
Beautiful. In case you didn't know, on June the 1st, federal officers used force to clear the area around a church where President Donald Trump was due to visit. Multiple eyewitnesses and news accounts reported noxious fumes that caused protesters' eyes and throats to burn. As federal officers fired on the crowd near the church, protesters cried out that tear gas was being used. There were calls to put on masks. However, according to Tim Murtaugh, the Trump 2020 communication director, every news organization which reported the tear gas lie should immediately correct or retract its erroneous reporting. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention defines riot control agents, sometimes referred to as tear gas, are chemical compounds that temporarily make people unable to function by causing irritation to the eyes, mouth, throat, lungs, and skin. Again, no tear gas was used and no rubber bullets were used. White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany repeated. The US Park Police said in a statement that officers employed the use of smoke canisters and paper balls. Rubber bullets and paper balls come in a variety of shapes and sizes, but the general difference is that rubber bullets are designed to cause pain, while paper balls causes both pain on impact and the discomfort of a chemical irritant payload. Rubber bullets weigh much more than paper balls, but with muzzle speeds of over 300 feet per second, both projectiles hurt on impact. Thus, technically maybe McEnany didn't lie? It was smoke canisters that temporarily make people unable to function by causing irritation to the eyes, mouth, throat, lungs, and skin, and no rubber bullets, but paper balls which is also designed to cause pain. It's a beautifully verbal subterfuge.
It's always unwise to seek political advice from someone who gets paid $100 million a year to bounce a ball. Oh, and LeBron and Kevin, you're great players, but no one voted for you. Millions elected Trump to be their coach. So keep the political commentary to yourself, or as someone once said, shut up and dribble.
Well, he's allowed to have his view about what kneeling and the flag means to him. I mean, he's a person. He has some worth, I would imagine. I mean, this is beyond football, though. This is totalitarian conduct. This is Stalinist. And by the way, on the streets of New Orleans, we're looking at live pictures. They're shouting F Drew Brees.
Wow.
That's what this moment has done to the beautiful team spirit of the New Orleans Saints.
He's a great Christian man.
Is it really that surprising? Over the last however many years, I heard some stupid stuff from Fox News. In fact, there is a nice compilation video of them flip-flopping on COVID-19. As for Laura Ingraham, this thing started when LeBron James publicly called her out with a tweet and shared a video posted by Complex Sports which highlighted the contrast of her comments against James and Brees. In her defense, Laura Ingraham said the following as transcribed by Mike Rosenstein of NJ.com. My defense of Brees led to an online chorus of people comparing those comments to previous comments I had made to LeBron James. At that time, James had said that Trump really doesn't give an F about the people. Well, without dwelling on the nuance between the two instances, let me be very clear about what I believe. We are all children of God regardless our racial or political differences and therefore must be treated equally. Ingraham began. Every American has the God-given right to speak his mind on any issue. I think in order to heal and shed light on gross injustice, Our country needs more dialogue, not less, she continued. And we need more respect, less retribution. Emotions are hot right now, and unfortunately, in times like this, we often find ourselves, I know it's easy to do, talking past each other. Right now, Americans, I think most of them are looking for reconciliation. That means politicians, police, and even cultural figures all working together. All of us. This is a moment when we should be listening and learning. All of us. Full disclosure here. English is not my first language. But did any of you understand any of it? I mean, I do understand what each sentence meant on its own, but overall in the context, it made no sense. It's non-germane. This is from Sky News in Australia. To me, most of the report seems to be right-leaning. So this editor of Spiked Online is skeptical about the lockdown. Hey, he was a Trotsky Marxist, a man of my own heart. It would make more sense if you have seen my Tiananmen Square anniversary video.
The thing is, I'm skeptical of lockdown. We've had the lockdown in the UK now for over 10 weeks. I think it's having a disastrous impact on our economy. Well, it is. Everyone is predicting a massive economic downturn. People are losing their jobs. People have sacrificed an enormous amount. I think it's gone on way too long. So on one level, I'm happy that people are breaking it. But what really infuriates me is that anyone who visited a loved one when they shouldn't really have, anyone who went to the beach for a beer, anyone who did any of these perfectly normal, perfectly safe things were chastised in the media, were really harangued and told that they were evil and they would kill old people.
Anyway, epidemiologists around the world have explained many times why the lockdown is vital. We have run simulations over and over again. Even with the lockdown in place, we had over 40,000 deaths in UK. Recently the graph shows it going down, but with the new cavalier approach everyone seems to have, let's see what happens in 10 days' time. We'll look back at that same graph. I know it's an argument from authority, but there are times when it's not a bad thing. Imagine if something is wrong with your car. If you don't know the internal of a car, it's most likely you'd ask someone who's knowledgeable about a car, right? So why shouldn't we listen to the professionals in this case? Yes, it is playing havoc with the economy. People are losing their jobs. People have sacrificed, and all that sacrifice would be in vain if we go back to square one. What really infuriates me is how Brendan talks about visiting the loved ones. Now, unless one is a sociopath, one would completely agree with it. But then immediately adds, going to the beach for a beer, followed by how these are all perfectly normal and perfectly safe. This is a nice psychological trick, and used by many mentalists and psychics in their act. In a subtle way, it connects the first part of the sentence with the second and third, with the assumption that if you agree with the first part, it would psychologically carry over to the remaining. Well, that's not gonna fly over here. Going to visit loved one is nowhere comparable to going down to the bloody beach for a beer. Quick rant here. My mom is now at the other side of my town, and I haven't seen her for months. Do you know why? Because I'm scared. I don't have the virus as far as I know, and at the same time, I know it can take weeks before the symptoms appear. So do I really want to take the chance and visit my 80-year-old mom, regardless how much I want to? So yes, I agree. If you're going to bloody beach for a beer, you are evil. And even if you do manage to kill an old person, most probably you will never know. So everything is honky-dory, right? Nothing to see here. Bloody hell, why are we so stupid? I know Horace Trubridge would most probably never see this video, but there is something I would like to say. Horace, are you ready? The virus does not care. Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? I understand you feel that the 2-meter rule was overkill for your members. Hey, I understand that is how you feel. But once again, the virus does not care. People, we haven't solved the problem yet. We know that, right? After all that scary, dangerous stupidity, let's finish with something that is just as stupid. Lauren Rebecca Perez, a vegan influencer from the US, shared a video to TikTok telling people that both Black Lives Matters and animal lives matters, and they need to connect those two dots. Jeez. Well, if somehow you have missed it, over the last several years we have seen a surge of police brutality with racist connotation. This surge doesn't mean that it didn't exist before, it's more likely that it wasn't in public perceptions. Recent protests started when an unarmed black man, George Floyd, from Minneapolis in the US, was killed while in police custody. Harrowing footage shows former police officer Derek Chauvin kneeling on Mr. Floyd's neck for 8 minutes. 4 police officers have been charged in relation to his death. But Mr. Floyd's death has left people around the world outraged, with Australians protesting in Sydney on Tuesday night, calling out not just injustice against black people, but Australia's indigenous people too. People protested in thousands in Trafalgar Square, despite government urging people not to break lockdown. Some people who responded to Lauren was nicer than others. Social entrepreneur Antonio French wrote, "Young woman, this is incredibly offensive. I'll give you the benefit of doubt and assume your heart is in the right place. But your equivalence of my life with that of an animal is fundamentally racist, whether you realize it or not. Take this video down and apologize." Well, what to add that hasn't been said already? The sheer audacity to compare black people to animals and say this is the same issue is completely tone deaf. And lay off my burger. Her video did get over 4.5 million views, so yay! Let's say it one more time. The virus does not care. The idea of these videos is to start a conversation with you guys, with all that is happening. We live in an interesting times indeed. So even if you disagree, please come down in the comments and put down your thought. Maybe I have missed something or some other nuances. So let's get a dialogue going. As you might have noticed that this is quite a new channel. And during this genesis, comments and subscribe counts a lot more than usual. So if you have enjoyed this content, please drop a comment and like the video. And maybe subscribe as well. Also check out some of my other videos. Thank you.